I spin out here and I take to the T, right? So the attacks we've done from T so far have probably been short side here, right? That's on the blue belt test. So if you don't know it, you do now. Hopefully you've been to class this week. Another option, pencil choke, boom, garbage. He defends by putting his arm in place. I step over and I catch to the rear triangle. I pull this in, I can break the arm here, or I can strangle the man to sleep, or wrist lock, right? Or I can do both of those things. That's a very important attack. Does everybody know that attack? Who said no? Oh, you weren't here at last class. Everybody else knows it? Every more knows. We have to do it because it's such a high percentage attack that you have to know it. So when we get here, the pencil choke is dirty. It's probably the worst thing you can do. I think it's trash, but I've tapped to it and it's like a big brother kind of scenario. I want to put my knee right under Chris's chin and then I connect my feet and then I straighten and I just drive my knee down into his trachea and I get a really rude choke. His carotids are not affected by this choke at all. Hard to defend, and you can definitely just bully big brother squeeze people here, but he has a free hand, and most of the time they try to like separate your legs. And when they do that, I come over the top and I put my foot to the floor, grabbing his arm or the gi, and then I lock back and I back heel. I can't get all the way to my knee here, but if I get to my calf and then I back heel, that starts to apply the pressure. That's all we need. But holding this arm and pulling it in tight makes a huge difference right here. If I can't get the choke clean, I attack the wrist and I push it towards Paul, right there. This doesn't work if my triangle's trash, right? The triangle provides the fulcrum to break the arm. As long as his bicep can't twist here, this is an arm break. If it's loose, it's nothing. The arm just moves freely. So again, here, step over, hammer the neck. When he steps over, I go right here, catch, pull, lock my triangle, and I will always go here while I'm triangling him. Because otherwise, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like I have a good Kimura situation here, but I might as well push this and break it while I'm choking him. It's the best possible thing to do. Make sense? Let's go, 1, 2. Like it was legit. We tried to sort out defenses for this. I've never had anyone defend this. Like it seemed really difficult to defend. I tapped some really good people with it. I put them to sleep, unconscious. They think they're defending, they can't, right? So it's worth doing. It's worth knowing. It's worth practicing. For me, anytime I get here, I'm like stepping over all the way. Because even here, he doesn't really feel like there's any sort of threat, and he'll try to wrestle up. Like almost, look what happens. Like it's the easiest finish you're ever gonna get. Step over, and you don't have to do I never use the pencil choke myself, ever. I'll go straight here because he's boom, I'll put my foot flat underneath the armpit and I'll wait. He's only got one direction he can go and he's going to expose this triangle right here all day long, right? So it's definitely worth doing from the T. For me, I really like it. The other thing you can do is if you get into this like dorsal Kimura position and you're pinching and he's making cheesy grips that you can't seem to separate, I can step inside here and do the same setup. As soon as my foot goes into the armpit, I can now peel back and just start setting up the exact same finish from the top. Super easy, but anytime I get here, it's just a matter of time before I get either the armbar or the strangle here. So with that in mind, when we're coming from the dorsal or whatever this is called, if you can get your heel between this arm and his body, sorry, I just stepped right on his nipple. Things I never thought I'd say. I just stepped on his nipple. If you can get the heel into the armpit here, it's always available for you just to fall back and back heel and just lock it right here. Now you can make any adjustments you might need. Set up the break, attack the wrist lock, whatever you want from this side. Or, whatever, you can also just finish regular T Kimura stuff. So I want you guys to do the same thing. This time though, maybe like practice coming up on top, sitting here like you're gonna rip the Kimura and he defends. This is like a really solid Kimura defense. Maybe we'll look at that after. Stepping over, falling down and back heeling through it. Using my leg to overpower his fingers. He's gonna win that battle every single time. Make sense? All right, let's do it. 1, 2, side. and pulling his arm against with my whole body, which makes it really difficult now for Chris to do anything. If he does decide to roll, I can always switch to like Choi bar if I need to, or I can just finish Kimura here. But it's a nice way to, and we did this last week, right? I think some of you were here for that again. Who knows? But for me, I don't get up. If you do get up, one of the problems is that right now I have his arm on this side of his body. It makes it really hard for him to defend. As soon as I start coming up here, now he brings grips into play. And a really good grip is for Chris to use his bottom hand to grip my top hand in my Kimura. This defense works super good. Right? I don't care how strong you are, you're not gonna break this grip. This is super effective. So I'm shutting down a lot of big, strong guys with this, and it works, but it's not an escape, right? You're just surviving. You're gonna sit here and rip, but if you look, his elbow's also tight in against his ribs. Really difficult for me to try to weasel my heel inside to that, get to that armpit. So it's a good way to survive temporarily. For the top player, some of us are like here, flat-footed. We want to be balls of our feet, pinching the knees in, and applying pressure on this guy. Anytime I'm on the feet, I should be on my balls, driving in, putting pressure on him. It's important, right? I heard it. I heard it, man. I knew Andrew and Caleb were definitely going to catch that one. There's one earlier too. Anyway, I heard it. So if you get to a situation where he's defending and he's stalling you out here, rather than trying to force anything, I'm going to bring this hand free, connect his elbow to my chest, and I'm going to push my hand on the top thigh and rip the leg over the top and catch the tricoplana from me. As I sit up, I start turning, rotating, keeping the hand on the floor. What was that?
What was that?
That was a tap, I guess.
That was a paw.
So if you can't like fight, I prefer to not get in like strength battles, mostly because I'm still working on my strength. But if he's got this grip and his elbows in tight, this is not the time to try to beat him from there. Chest comes down, connects to the back of the tricep, block this leg, and then rip. I need to put all my weight on my left knee. That gives me mobility over this leg here. So for a split second, I'm gonna take that pressure off, biting and just sitting right on top of this guy here. This hand hits the floor, and I start rotating my body here. One of two things happens. Either A, he taps, or maybe he lets go of the grip because the pressure starts to compound, and that's okay too. Or I can roll all the way through to my shoulder here. Halfway through this roll, I'm gonna pop my legs. Pop my legs to use him to break the grip, and I'm gonna come right back into this kind of Choi bar angle and sort of attacking again, or finishing from here. Again, he can roll if he wants to. Roll. No, I don't. I don't want to roll. You don't want to, right? It's terrifying.
Yeah.
So use the tricoplana to kind of like turn him, expose him. I've kind of stopped using it, to be honest. I don't know why. Cooper uses it a lot. You still use it a lot?
I used it the other day.
Oh, yeah, on me. That's right. Here, boom, boom, boom. You should be able to get the finish here. If he's super strong and you can't, as you roll to your shoulder, you're gonna use your legs to expose the push away on the body as you separate his hand from his ribs. Pull. Then here it's an easy Kimura finish, or Choi bar, whichever one you prefer. Make sense? Not a lot of confidence in the on that one. All right, let's go. So I have my Kimura. I want to make sure I have pressure on the guy. Reach in, and I grab all of his fingers. Don't let me have your hand. Right. Super easy. All the fingers. That turkey hand again. From what's that movie? Just reach in, grab all the fingers. Pinch the thigh hair if they're not wearing spats. Pull it away, up, and don't switch any grips. You don't need to go here. Take this Kimura hand and break it.